I just made $40,000 on a double closing on this real estate wholesaling deal. And in today's video, I'm gonna break out the HUDs and show you exactly how I was able to make over $40,000 on a double closing on this real estate wholesaling deal. This is really an exciting one, guys, because I'm making 40 grand on a double closing. This process can be done in any state in the entire United States. You can do this in Illinois, you can do this in Oklahoma, do this in Philadelphia. This type of wholesaling is completely legal, and it's a quick hack. Made $40,000. The seller didn't know how much I made, the buyer didn't even know how much I made, and we made $40,000. And my favorite part is, I have the HUDs to prove it. Guys, you can take what I say, but how do you know I'm saying the truth? I have the HUDs, went to the closing today, gonna record me going to the closing and getting it done. So before I share exactly how I made 40 grand on this deal, remember, you need to smash that like button and subscribe to the most true value from me, and let's go. I'm at the house right here and I'm excited to really share with it. I'm actually technically the owner of this house. So I'm just checking on the property really quick one more time before I go to the closing today. And what we're basically doing is I am buying the property at $150,000 and selling it for $195,000. So that's $45,000 in profit, but you might be saying, Zach, how are you making 40 not 45 on the double closing? Well, we actually had to pay a finder's fee for someone to help us find the buyer. We actually used one of our real estate agents to help us out find the buyer here, because the buyer paid a very, very good price, more than our average buyer here. So it was actually a really exciting property how we did this. So net about $40,000, and let's kind of show the HUDs. So before I show you the HUDs, you might be asking yourself, like, Zach, what is a double closing? And basically a double closing is basically like wholesaling real estate. So as you know, the wholesaling real estate process, I go and put this property under contract for $100,000 and I go sell it for $120,000 to a cash buyer, make about $20,000 on an assignment fee. That's great. That is how the average wholesaling is going. And on this deal, I'm putting it under contract for $150 and I'm selling it for $190. And that's technically a $40,000 wholesaling deal. Here is the massive issue here. If this seller and this buyer knew I was making $40,000 on an assignment here, they would have refused to sell with me. The seller was very, very risky. As you can see inside of the property, they have severe anger issues, and I'm dealing with a buyer that is very new, that's never bought a property from us, and they're not too comfortable me making a profit on the assignment. So what's the win-win here? Well, the win-win here is just doing a double closing. This is basically the process, like in wholesaling real estate, where if I would have put this property under contract for $150,000, I would have sold it for $190, $150 would have given to the seller, $40,000 for me for my assignment, and we would have been good. The issue is they'd have to disclose that $40,000 payment to me on the HUD. The seller would just walk out and be very angry. They were very, very wishy-washy, so it wouldn't have been a good deal. And then the buyer is very hesitant of doing assignments. They wanted it clean cut, really easy. So basically the process, what we did here is we're just gonna buy this property for $150,000 and then sell it to that buyer for $190,000. So it's clean cut, there's no assignment. I'm actually selling my property that I technically own to them. And I own the property for about 2 minutes. It's kind of interesting to say, but hey, let's take a step back here and sort of explain this, because the process of me actually owning it for about 2 minutes is pretty simple. So what I do is I go to the closing, I buy it from the seller at the closing, which is today. So I'm gonna go to the closing, I'm actually gonna meet the seller, say, hey, Mr. Seller, how are you? I'm ready to buy your house. What I do is I buy the house, I put $150,000 of my money into it to buy the property, and that closing's set for like, I don't know, 9 a.m. And then at 9:05, guess what? I go meet the buyer, and guess what we do? I just close on that property. It's 2 closings at once. It's technically a loophole, but it's not really a loophole because I'm actually buying a property and selling it. What's the difference between me buying this property and then selling it, 4 years later versus selling it 5 minutes later, right? There's no difference. I mean, it's completely legal. That's how real estate works in the United States of America, and especially here in Florida. And it's completely legal what I'm doing. Technically, it's not even wholesaling at this point, but it is in the category of wholesaling, I would say. So what we did here was about 9 o'clock, I'm gonna go with the seller, shake hands again, buy it for $150, pay some closing costs, which I'll show you in the HUDs. And then on the other side here, I'm gonna go meet with the buyer at like 9:05, and then I'm gonna sell that same property because I'm technically the owner there, just signed the closing, right? I'm the actual owner, deed got signed, and I sell it to him 5 minutes later, and he buys it for $190,000, and he's paying all closing costs on his side of the transaction. So guess what that nets me? $40,000 in profit. Now it's technically $39,750, but you know, plus or minus, let's say $750, let's say $40,000 just to round it up, make it easy. And that's pretty exciting. I mean, that's what double closing is. So now you know the process of a double closing. The biggest issue with double closings, obviously, is how do you get the funding? Usually you get funding partners that can help you fund it for that 5 minutes. You'll probably have to pay $1,000 to $2,000 for that $150,000. People who do funding love this because you have a clear deposit actually written with the cash buyer and the seller. So let me go walk inside really quick the property and let's share the HUDs. Go open this property. Come on, come on. Now, before I show you the absolute fun of why I didn't close on this property, there's a lot of very good reasons why I decided not to close on this menace of a property. Again, that's another reason why I decided to do a double closing on this house, is actually because this property needed so much work that if I threw it back on the market and tried to sell it on the MLS, I would have netted around $40,000 in profit because I would have sold it for a little more. But the issue is there's so much work that had to be done on the property that it just wasn't worth my time. It wasn't worth my men working on it. And really just the amount of effort and headache this property was. And between you and me, there's so much work that had to be done on this. It just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth putting the capital in there and really dealing with it. So without further ado, let's do what the gurus are scared to actually show you, which is the HUDs. All right, no gurus around me. We're good. Let's show the HUDs before the gurus come in and get very scared here. Ready for the HUDs? Bang! Right here, you can see right here on the closing, I bought the property for $150,000. I had a $1,000 deposit on the deal, and I just made sure so no one steal this deal. Again, guys, I sold this for $190,000. I knew it was worth around that, but honestly, at $150,000 I know it was a really good deal, so I wanted a really solid deposit on this deal, and it ended up being very good. And then you can see, I sold it again for $195,000. I gave $5,000 to a realtor who actually brought me the buyer here because I wanted to bid up for as much as I could. I was getting offers at like 175, 180, and this realtor's like, I got a buyer for 195 for this. I'm like, okay. And it's the first time buyer here, so it's it was a little interesting to see. I know it's gonna close, so it's gonna be fine. But what I can tell you right now is, this is exciting, guys. You know, like we're gonna make $40,000 on a double closing here, and at the end of the video, we're gonna go walk to the title company, and then we're actually gonna show you a little bit of the process there, and show you I made $40,000 on this. So without further ado, you guys saw making $40,000 on there. They gave a $5,000 non-refundable deposit, and let's show you the property. And let me show you the reason why I don't want to close on this property. This is a textbook example of a deal you do not want to close on yourself and do the work. This is a nightmare even for an experienced flipper. So let me show you around the property. Again, this is a wood frame house. In a wood frame house in Florida, there's termites, there's hurricane, there's moisture everywhere, there's leaks everywhere, and the property's disgusting. It just needs a lot of work. And here's the most fun part about this. The seller has severe anger issues. So you guys might remember when I was doing my best Shia LaBeouf impression and starring in the movie Holes at one of the other deals I did where there's holes everywhere. This almost puts it to shame. There's holes everywhere because the seller has severe anger issues, and he decided just to punch all the holes in the wall when he gets angry, and as you can tell, he gets very angry. So let's show you around the property. So let's start you out here at the front door. The guy was very anal about security, so he has it bolted shut, and as you can see here, the electric here is very weird. We got severe issues. I mean, we got everything exposed. The ceiling is literally blue. I don't know why the ceiling is blue. Someone decided that gray, that tan with blue is a good color. We got some drywall issues here. As you can see in the ceiling, this is kind of like an artisan touch they did in the 1980s in Port St. Lucie. It looks absolutely atrocious. They put blotches on it because they thought it looks good and artisan and unique. And And as you can see, it's not a good look at all. Baby blue is a terrible color. I don't understand it. The seller actually thought it'd be a good idea to open the property up. So he, without anger, actually did a huge hole right here because he wanted to open it up for some reason. It makes no sense to me at all. Also, he decided he was going to renovate the entire property. So what's the first thing he thought he was going to do when he renovated the property? He ran out of money, obviously, was he's just going to tear the flooring up. And as you can see here, he literally tore the entire property up. Like, come on. It's absolutely a terrible thing he did. I don't understand why he did that. As we come here, we are in the kitchen, which I don't even know if you can even consider this thing a kitchen. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, this looks like a complete mess. They took everything with them. I want to show you this because this is not good at all. We have exposed wires everywhere. A lot of this stuff is not up to code. It's really a terribly done kitchen plan. Like I don't know who decided to create this property. And here's one of my favorite parts about this, which is disgusting. Right there, they decided to do like an artisan touch circle thing on it, which it forces you to put a lamp, puts you a fan lamp on there, which is just a terrible idea. The whole property really needs some work because the ceiling needs to have work on it. It has to have painting everywhere. There's little holes over here. This isn't the worst part yet. So we're at number 1 here. So let's show you hole 1. So this is hole 1 into the bathroom. Got angry. Punched a bunch of holes there. So we got holes right here, which absolutely terrible. We can see someone decided that yellow was going to be a very good color for the bathroom. Tub's looking nasty. And one of the biggest pet peeves here in Florida, which is like a sunroof, which is just terrible. They leak like crazy. Everything was doing it in the 80s. It was absolutely atrocious how they did it. So the sunroof here is leaking really bad, which is terrible. It's got to get replaced. It's bad. So let me show you this. It's on this. So it's right. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. And this is what a sunroof kind of looks like. As you can see, we have leaks all over the place here, and it's kind of showing the sun. It's such a mess. It's really not a good deal. I mean, this thing's absolutely disgusting. So these spots are all leaks, and it's a mess. As we walk through more of the property, you can see hole, marks everywhere. There's holes over here. And we got some nice wallpaper. Like this is just, we got the nice blue ceiling too. Like this deal would have stressed me out so bad if I had to do it myself. Like this is a very stressful looking deal here. One thing I give to the sellers, at least they left a tile here. Right here, we are in the 2nd bedroom here, and there's just holes everywhere. And then obviously some more holes here. If you're a fan of rainbows, I guess you got a nice little ceiling fan here. I should have been recording this video for Halloween because this is definitely a Halloween horror house. Again though, something I really want to emphasize that's really important for you to understand is this is still a property in Port St. Lucie where houses are selling like crazy. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and honestly, it's 1,800 square feet. So it really should be a 3-bedroom, but they only made it 2 bedrooms because they designed this property so terribly. So the cash buyer is actually going to convert to a 3-bedroom and really push the comps up it and make some more equity. So it's going to make sense for this deal for him. But the permitting, making a new bedroom. Now let's get into the bedroom. So this is the entrance where they wanted to create that hole there. I don't know why. This is the master bedroom. I mean, hole here, carpet needs to get replaced, and a little bit of holes, nothing too bad here. Here's the other hole right here. As you can see, me for size, I'm 6'1", and you can see, as an example, I'm fairly tall enough to make this seem like this is a huge hole. It's a lot of drywall, okay? And I got very long arms. So this is a mess of a hole right here. Like, this is absolutely expensive. You see the other drywall here, it's not good. Okay guys, so for going this far in the video, I got a great surprise for you. We have an absolute terrible another sunroof that is absolutely leaking horrendously. We have a very creepy closet in here. a toilet that doesn't have any plumbing in it, and it's a complete mess. So this is still a very desirable area in Port St. Lucie. So this is like a Florida room. It is permanented. It's around 400 square feet. There's windows everywhere. It's kind of hard to insulate this thing. There's no central air in here. So it's probably not going to be a good bedroom or under air usage. But it's technically under air because it's permanented. But okay, so as you can see, we're on the outside here. Kind of needs some work to it, but it needs some work. I mean, the outside structure is kind of decaying a little. And that's really on the outside. As you can see, we have we have a fairly large shed and backyard. And then we have a 2.5 car garage, which is not bad at all. And then that's really it. We also got a safe. Do you guys know what's in the safe? We actually, I talked to the seller, he actually told me what was in the safe. I actually got the code, but there's something very valuable in there. Before we go over, you wanna know what's in it? Let me show you. So the seller actually told me that this safe actually holds the secrets to wholesaling real estate. That's right. Let's put in the code. Okay, this is kind of scary. What's gonna be the secret to wholesaling real estate? Let's see. Whoa. Got 2 pieces of paper in here, right? Number 1, it says marketing. And the new one here says rapport and empathy. I guess that's been the secret all along for success in wholesaling real estate. Good marketing and having rapport and empathy with your sellers. Who knew? Okay, so I gotta be honest with you. The seller actually did not put the secrets of wholesaling real estate in there, but I thought it'd be kind of important you guys know that. So yes, okay, that was kind of funny. That was kind of scripted there, but that's the honest truth. Guys, the real secret to wholesaling real estate is rapport, empathy, and good marketing. And honestly, there's nothing in the safe. They gave me the code, but there's nothing good or valuable in there. So before it goes raining, let's go over to the title company and let's get this deal done. All right, let's close this deal. Woo! The closing here is literally like a 1980s Scarface movie. Like look at the elevator. Like this is like all 1980s Scarface stuff. I mean, you got that gold and the... But yeah, guys, a lot of people think when you go to closing, you gotta look all fancy. And you know what the truth is? Okay, you don't have to have this like big suit and everything to look like super fancy. I mean, the honest truth is, I mean, this is what I wear to all my closings now. Like, the title company knows I'm legit. Like, I've closed hundreds of them, so they don't really care. All right, guys, just got back from the title company, so that's it, guys. So closed about $40,000. Pretty exciting note, it's actually done, and we made the 40K there. So, guys, at the end of the day, you could be making the same amount of money doing double closings. My recommendation for you is if you're making over, I would say about 35, 30 on the deal, you should probably consider double closing it. That'll probably give the best results for wholesaling real estate. So that is a $40,000 double closing wholesaling real estate deal. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you got any value out of it, remember, please smash that like button and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.